Hey Tilda Swinton, we need to talk about your hairstyle from this year's Golden Globes. Adapted from Lionel Shriver's award-winning novel of the same name, we need to talk about Kevin stars Tilda Swinton and John C. Reilly as a couple who end up bearing a child who they named Kevin, but what they're not aware of is that Kevin is slowly going to evolve into a hostile, cunning, manipulative, and malignant sociopath who ends up committing a high school massacre. Now, while it does sound kind of simple, the film employs a non-linear storyline to have flashbacks on what led up through his evolution from his early child years up to the point of the massacre, and how the mother, played by Tilda Swinton, starts to kind of blame herself for what happened through the course. Now, we need to talk about Kevin was without a doubt one of my most anticipated movies to see, and even though it is a 2012 release, I guess you could say, because it's really starting its theatrical run now, it was a pre-screener for award season back in 2011, and it's been earned so much rave for Tilda Swinton's performance, to the very surreal direction and everything. And I have to say, if I could go back in time and recreate my top 15 best movies of 2011 montage, this would definitely land a spot in there for sure. Tilda Swinton delivers one of the most powerhouse tour de force performances as Ava, Kevin's mother. She's one of those very few actresses where you can rely on her a lot more for just facial reactions, like facial expressions all the time to convey what they're feeling, because she doesn't really say a whole lot throughout this film, and yet that hands its benefit because this is a very quiet movie at times. There isn't a whole lot of scenes that really have dialogue. Everything's told in such an artistic fashion, and Swinton just nails it all down so perfectly. She's highly deserving of an Oscar nomination for this film. Alongside Swinton, though, Ezra Miller is particularly fantastic as well, but I have a strong feeling that he's going to get overshadowed when it comes to the true award season come the Oscars, because he is just fantastic at nailing down the creepy, malignant, manipulative, and hostile side of Kevin, which his mother just cannot simply handle. His performance really reminded me of Daryl Sabara's in the highly underrated World's Greatest Dad, in which that character was very manipulative and hostile and just doesn't give a rat's ass about anyone who's in his way, and that's exactly what Ezra Miller is in this film, and he just nails it down even more. My only problem with this movie was John C. Reilly, and it had absolutely nothing to do with his acting. I felt the character was very one-note, and he was extremely underused, because I feel that John C. Reilly is one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. He hardly ever gets enough credit to his name, except for in Chicago where he got an Oscar nomination. But here he continues to prove that he is very good at holding his own alongside other big-name casts. Yeah, I still think the guy deserved a whole lot more in this film, though. The direction by Lynne Ramsay is absolutely astounding, as it's told in a very artistic and visual storytelling fashion, in which it's not as much as a focus on dialogue, it's more of a visual storytelling, as I said before, and there are some extremely surreal sequences in this film, especially involving the color red, which is a prominent symbol to show the family relationship throughout the film, because it's basically drowned in blood because of Kevin's actions throughout the film. Her direction combines the styles of both the work of Stanley Kubrick for being extremely surreal, and Michael Haneke's for being very violent without showing really that much blood at all, in which it doesn't really show the big outcomes of violence that happen in the film. They just show them, oh, this happened, but it's in your imagination where you cook up all those bad things that happen, where it's truly a lot more horrifying than I think that they could actually show it on screen. Johnny Greenwood's score is also fantastic, the editing is great, and the cinematography is absolutely beautiful. Some of the music choices are a bit questionable to some people, but I found it to be a perfect contradiction and also a part satire on suburban life, in which you really think that everything is perfect from the way you see it, but in reality, when you actually look at it, it's a whole lot darker than it actually is. Despite a few minor nitpickets I did have with the film, we need to talk about Kevin is still a very powerful and haunting drama that I've seen, and also one of the best character studies that I've seen in quite a long time. Tilda Swinton definitely is deserving of an Oscar nomination for her performance, and that's why I'm going to give We Need to Talk About Kevin a very strong 4.5 out of 5 stars. So I hope you enjoyed my review of We Need to Talk About Kevin. I'll have a written review posted sometime today. The link will be below, and I'll post an annotation above me right about here for when it will be up. Also, be sure to check out my Wes Anderson movie marathon that I also conducted this week. The link to that is below on my website as well. All these things are in the description, as I said before. So in the meantime, I'm Tom from Cali Critic Reviews, and I'll see you guys later.